Those who have come for the first time, welcome. We'll start with the prayer, Prabhupada prayer. You can repeat with me. Namo Vishnuvadaya Krishna Krishnaaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine शून्यवादी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur. So, we are in chapter number 2 of Bhagavad Gita as it is. And last session we finished there are actually 5 sections. The Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 is pretty long. Besides chapter 2, the chapter 18 is longest. The last chapter is longest, and after that the second chapter is quite long. Prabhupada has titled it Contents of the Gita Summarized, which means it pretty much has everything of the whole Gita summary. And this second chapter can be divided into 5 sections. Last time we finished the first section. The first section basically is Arjuna continuing his lamentation why he doesn't want to fight the war. And in that section, Arjuna is giving different arguments. He gives 5 arguments why he cannot fight. And in the first 10 verses, he comes to a point where he realizes that he's confused. He knows that he's a Kshatriya. Kshatriya's primary duty is fighting. He knows that, but he also knows that he doesn't want to kill his own family. So he's in a dilemma. And he comes to a point where he understands that he's confused, and he surrenders to Krishna. He says, Krishna, I am a soul surrendered to you, please guide me. And then Krishna takes over. So Acharyas tell us that why didn't Krishna speak for like so long? The whole first chapter, nearly 30 verses or so, Arjuna is speaking and speaking and speaking, and Krishna is just listening. And in the 11th verse, Krishna actually starts giving his advice. So the reason why Krishna didn't speak so long is that that's a practical application, by the way. When somebody is in a lot of trouble and you're trying to help that person, the first thing to do is let him download whatever is his problem. Let him take it out, and then you can give advice. So that's what Krishna was doing. He was just listening to Arjuna, let him take it out, all what was inside his heart. And then Krishna starts speaking when Arjuna says, please advise me, I am a soul surrendered to you. Again, that's a practical application. You don't give unsolicited advice. When people ask you for advice, you give. And that's what Krishna is telling us by his example. So, the first section is completed, and we will do the two sections today. Two sections, verse number 2.11 up to 2.38. 2.11 to 2.30 is around about how many verses? 20, around 20. That basically Krishna will speak about the soul and body. It is also called as Jnana Yoga. Analyzing something. If you analyze anything, it can be called Sankhya. But when in this case you are analyzing the body and soul, matter and spirit, so it is Sankhya Yoga. And the other section, 31 to 38, it is talks about Karma Kand or Sakam Karma. Now these are new terms. I will explain to you as we reach to that section. So this section, chapter 2, as I said, it is Jnana or Sankhya. And in one sentence, the whole of this section only talks about one thing. The body dies, the soul doesn't die. The body is perishable, the soul is imperishable. The body dies, the soul doesn't die. This is simply the gist of all that Krishna is going to say. And in Zen Buddhism, there's an interesting phrase called empty your cup. Emptying your cup means when you go to a spiritual master or to seek guidance, or to anybody you're seeking guidance, you cannot understand anything if your cup is full. Cup meaning your brain. You're full of your own ideas, your own conceptions, misconceptions, your head is full of that, and you go to a teacher or a master and ask for advice. He cannot help you till you empty your cup. And the example is shown, like, I used to love Zen Buddhism. They are nice, these little short stories. And one story is that a student goes to a master and asks for advice. So master gives him a cup and he pours tea into it. And he keeps pouring, and the tea overflows. And so student says, Master, the tea is overflowing. So the master says, yes, your head is full of your own ideas. Until that is empty, I cannot put anything. It won't contain, it will just overflow. So Krishna, remember in the first section, Krishna chastises Arjuna. Strong words, he uses strong words. Klepyam mas magama partha netatva upapadhyate. He calls him, don't be weak-hearted, don't be impotent. These are harsh words. And he really chastises, and why he does that? For this, to break the misconception that was in Arjuna's head. He gave 5 reasons why he could not fight last time. Remember, 5 reasons he gave, and now Krishna will, debunk all those 5 reasons. And Krishna, the first thing Krishna, he tells Arjuna what does it mean to be wise? Who is a wise person? Or when you say this person is learned, what exactly that means? Does it mean that that person has a lot of academic qualification? He's a PhD, he's an engineer? No, that's not wise. A wise person is one who knows what is body, what is soul. He knows the difference between the two. And he knows who's controlling both these, body and the soul. And then he doesn't lament. And Arjuna, remember when Arjuna was giving different reasons why he could not fight or he thought it was not right to fight. One reason he said was the women and the children. What will happen if all these soldiers are going to be killed? What will happen to those women and children sitting in the house? Who's going to take care of them? They'll be starving. That actually is there are different shastra that comes under the purview of Artha Shastra. It's the Shastra for economy and socio-economic level. That's a lower mundane level. And then Arjuna gives another argument. If I kill my own family, I'll go to hell. Sin, it's a sin. That's a level higher. That's the Dharma Shastra. So above Arthashastra is Dharma Shastra. He's talking about Dharma now. It's a more higher level. But what Krishna is going to tell now is the most highest Jnana Shastra. It's not socio-economic, it's not religious, it's even above that. So we start with, basically the Krishna, the advice starts with verse 11. Some people actually, when they read Gita, they start with verse 11. That's when Krishna actually is speaking his advice. So the verse 11, 12 and 13, basically one message. Soul is eternal, body will die. Whatever you do, body is going to die. So we come into verse 2.11. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. As I said, Shri Bhagavan, Prabhupada explained in a lot of pages why Krishna is called a Bhagavan. And he doesn't, Srila Vyasadeva doesn't use that title for anybody else. He doesn't say, Arjuna, Arjuna Vacha, Sanjay Vacha. When Krishna speaks, Vyasadeva doesn't say Krishna Vacha, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. And Bhagavan, as I said last time, somebody who has 6 opulences in full 100%. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Ashochanam Vashochasvam Prajna Vadamshta Bhashase Gatasu Nagatasumshta Nanushochanti Pandita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the dead nor for the living. It's a very powerful statement, which means if someone dies, no need to lament. It's a natural thing. No need to lament for somebody who dies. If somebody is living, you don't have to be worried about the living people also, which means you don't worry at all. Everything is happening according to the laws of nature. Life and death is okay. You don't cry for somebody who's alive, you don't cry for somebody who's dead. Next verse. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neche neme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Now, one major difference between our philosophy, the Vaishnava philosophy that we follow in ISKCON, is called Achintya Bhedaved. It's a Dvaita philosophy. Dvaita means the living entity is different, God is different. Dvaita means two. The Advaita philosophy, they believe it's the same. That's a big difference. We don't believe that we are same. We are living entities. God is God. We are servants of God. But Advaita philosophy believes that after death, the soul merges into the Supreme. That's a big difference. And Prabhupada was very strongly against the Advaita philosophy. Therefore, in this verse, Krishna clearly says, individuality is not lost. It's a very crucial point. We are individuals like you are. We are all different. We continue to be different eternally. We will take different birth, different bodies. We are different. We go to ultimate destination, Golok Dham, Krishna's abode. We still will be different individuals. We'll have a spiritual body, we will be different. There is no merging. The Advaita philosophy gives an example, very commonly they love that example. They say that imagine a pot with a water and the pot breaks, or just an empty pot, the pot breaks and the air in it gets mixed with the air outside. So the pot being the body. But the Dvaita or the Vaishnava Dvaita philosophy doesn't buy that. We are always different. So Krishna clearly says here, there was never a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. Everybody was there before, is there now, will continue to exist separately. Um, so, so why are you lamenting? Krishna is asking. These people were there before, they are now, they will continue to be. They'll get different bodies, but they will exist. So what is the point of lamentation? Right? So, Arjuna might argue, although soul is eternal, the body is related to soul and thus becomes an object of affection. So when the body dies, there will be lamentation. So the point is, Arjuna was crying for Bhishma and Drona, his most favorite people. If he kills them, they die, and he'll miss them, and so he's crying, right? Krishna says, you're just killing the body. The soul is eternal. Don't cry. So Arjuna is saying, but the soul and body are together. Bhishma's soul is in Bhishma's body. So if I kill the body, I won't be able to see that body, so I will miss him, so I'm crying. So Krishna said, his reply, now this is what Acharyas tell us. It's not there in Bhagavad Gita, but the Acharyas, the scholars who studied it in depth, they are telling us. Krishna's reply, which he'll speak later, could be, see, when the body changes, from the baby you become a child, then you become little bigger, you become a youth, the body is changing. Does anybody cry? When the baby becomes a child, do you cry? Oh, what happened to the baby? The child becomes a youth, no one cries. You accept it. You accept that change. Similarly, when death happens, you get a new body. The Bhishma and Drona, they are very old. Bhishma was like 300 something, I don't know exactly, it's quite old. He will get a new body. So that's a matter to be celebrated. His old body is gone and he's getting a new body, so that's another change. Why are you crying for that change? That's Krishna's point. Now in the next verse, Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara pratir dhiras tatra namuhyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in the body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes from one body to another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. This verse proves that there is no cause for lamentation because Bhishma and Drona will get fresh bodies. Now, Dhiras Tatrana Muhyati, a Dhira is a person who accepts these things. A Dhira is, in English you can say stoic. Somebody who is not bewildered by changes, somebody who is not having these emotional ups and downs. A Dhira, he's not very happy when something good happens, he's not very sad when something bad happens, he's Dhira, he's a stoic, steady. So, the body is just changing. So Arjuna, he might argue, but I'm still attached to the current body. I know Bhishma will get a fresh body. But what about me? I know this body. I'm going to miss this body. He'll get a fresh body, good for him. But I'm going to miss this body. What about that? The reply is, be a dhira. Come to terms with it. Accept it. That's it. Be a dhira. Now the next two verses, 14 and 15, Lord Krishna talks about a dhira. What are the qualities of dhira? Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama apayino nityastam titikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O style of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Now here Lord says, the sense, how do we perceive the world? Our five senses, eyes, nose, tongue, skin, five senses. If you don't have any of these, you don't know what's there. That's how we perceive the world. So because of your senses, you can know Shita, Ushna. First, Krishna says Shitoshna. Shita, cold. Ushna is hot. We feel hot and cold. What do? You tolerate it. When it is winter, you put warm clothes. When summer, you turn on the fan. Shitoshna. Sukha Dukha. Again, Sukha Dukha. The interesting part is that we have progressed. Humans have progressed so much. We have found ways to tolerate heat and cold, right? We have gadgets. What about Sukha Dukha? Do we have any gadgets for that? We don't. We don't have any machine to tolerate Sukha and Dukha. So, what we have to do, be a dhira. Accept it. Next verse. Yam hina vyathayantyete purusham purushashabha samadukha sukham dhiram so kritatvaya kalpate. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. In other words, following one's duty, dharma, despite the discomfort or disturbance, leads to jnana, and that in turn leads to mukti. Prabhupada gives an example in the purport. If you read, the mother or the women of the family, when it's very hot, April, May, does the mother stop cooking? It's too hot. No, they go to kitchen, they do the cooking. They cook for the family despite the hot weather, right? And similarly, those who are in like brahmachari ashram, they're supposed to wake up in the morning and take bath. If it is very cold winter in December, January, they still get up at 4 o'clock or 3:30 and they take bath in cold water maybe. So, you have to tolerate the physical discomfort to do your duty. That's a point. Your duty is there and it's hard, you don't do that. Dharma means despite the discomfort doing your duty. And when you do that, what happens is you rise above the bodily level. Now we are so concerned about the body, but when you can overcome that discomfort and still do your duty, you rise above the bodily concept. Now the next few verses, 16 to 22, it's soul never dies, the bodies will die, changing body is like changing clothes. That is the gist of the next few verses. Starting from verse number 16, it's all about the soul. 16. Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah upayodapi drishtontas tvanayos tattvadarshinihi. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent material body there is no endurance, it's going to die. And eternal soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Now, this is interesting. We are basically, our true identity is soul. We are souls who are using the body. Why? To fulfill our desires. We have a lot of desires. Lord Krishna has mercifully given us this body of Panch Mahabhut to fulfill our desires. They say this is one lecture I heard. It's a Panchayati Dharamshala. You know, the Panch Maha body is made of Panch Mahabhut. So the speaker called it Panchayati Dharamshala. Dharamshala is what you go to stay for some time and then you move on. You don't own the Dharamshala. You don't own the guest house. Similarly, the body, you have been given the body to use for some time. Don't be too attached to it. You have to leave it and move on. It's a dharamshala. So the soul, it's a very deep topic, but basically the soul is covered by a sukshma sharir, the astral body, which is made up of man, buddhi, ahankar, ego, intelligence, and mind. Can you see the mind? No. But we all have a mind, right? It's a sukshma, subtle. We all have intelligence. Intelligence means what? Not getting good marks. Intelligence is a discerning factor. Differentiating. Yes. So that is also the subtle body and ego. The I-ness. Aham mameti. Me, that factor. It's a sukshma body. And then we have the gross body. The soul is nothing to do with it. It's completely aloof from that. Like you put oil in water, it doesn't mix. It stays separate, right? You put a drop of oil in water. I came up with this example. Yeah, there's no, the soul is there, it's using the body, but it's nothing to do with the body. The soul does not care for joy or sorrow of the body or mind. That's a very interesting part because we go through life, we have something happens, we get so sad. Something good happens, we get so happy. Guess what? The soul doesn't care for your happiness or your sorrow. Your soul. Your soul is Satchidananda, you know, Satchidananda, the eternity, bliss and knowledge. Why does it feel, why do you feel that this is happening to me? Because of the misidentification. It's a fake identity. Your soul is falsely identified with the body. The soul is full of bliss. Now, the 17th verse, again, is all soul talk. Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasham abhyavasyasya na kaschit kartumarhati. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So this picture shows the soul, and like I said, there is the subtle covering, intelligent mind, ego, then the gross covering. All right, and the soul, and this purport Prabhupada talks about the size of the soul. Why scientists have never been able to find the soul? You know, we have found out the most minute this coronavirus. I think viruses. When I was in school, I studied viruses are the most smallest one. I don't know now, maybe whatever. Viruses are pretty small, and you can see through your electronic microscope or whatever. But scientists cannot see the soul. Soul is so small. There is no instrument, man-made instrument that can detect the soul. Soul is described as 1/10,000 part of the hair. Hair, the tip of the hair, not the length of the hair, the tip of the hair. If you cut it into 1/10,000, how small is that? That is the size of the soul. That is why you can't see it. Scientists can't see it. So science, whatever you cannot perceive, they don't believe that. Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirena anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore fight, O descendant of Bharata. A practical application of this is have a clear vision. Don't be too caught up with material things. Step a little back. because life is full of drama. Don't be too much into the drama, just take one step back and see from the soul point, because you are ultimately soul. य एनं वेति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभयतौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. The spirit soul is so small that it's impossible to kill him by any material weapon. So you can't kill it, you can't see it, the soul you can't see, it's so small, so it's not possible to kill the soul because it's so small. So don't worry, nobody can die. This, however, does not encourage killing. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Arjuna is being engaged in killing for dharma under the instruction of the Supreme Lord Krishna. The soul cannot be killed. That doesn't mean you go around shooting people. You can't kill anybody or any insect, like I said last time. Every living entity, the ant and mosquitoes, everything is a living entity. Everything are children of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna. Soul doesn't die, doesn't mean you have a license to kill. But Arjuna can kill. Why? Because it was a dharma yuddha. It was under the instruction of the Supreme Lord Krishna. When the Supreme Lord tells you to kill, you should kill. So Arjuna was directly instructed by Krishna to fight. Number one, he is a Kshatriya, it is dharma to fight a religious battle. Number two, Krishna is personally telling him to fight and kill. So then you can do it. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. For the soul does neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. The body undergoes 6 changes. Every body, every living entity's body has 6 changes. Number 1, it takes birth. It remains for some time. It produces some side effect, meaning you can multiply, you can have children. Side effect. Gradually it dwindles. Old age happens. At the end, it vanishes, dies. The body has 6 changes. But the soul does not change. It is forever the same. Verse number 21. Veda vinashinam nityam yaenam ajamovyayam katham sapurushat partha kam ghatayati hantikam. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Capital punishment for killing is justified because otherwise in the next life the sinner will have to suffer greatly for his sins. Now, in olden times when somebody does, a thief is caught or a murder is caught, the king gets him, gives him capital punishment, meaning he's hanged or he's killed. Now also we have capital punishment. Some countries have abolished it, but capital punishment is very much there in scriptures. Yes, death penalty is good. Why? Because when a sinner is doing sins in that body, if you don't give him a punishment in that life, he will get a very bad next life. Because his sins, the interest, like bank interest, the more number of years he lives with that sin, that magnitude of the punishment increases. So in the next life he will suffer terribly. Therefore, when somebody does some very bad crime, capital punishment is justified. Okay? It's similar like a surgeon has to operate If you have a tumor or cancer, the surgeon has to operate. He doesn't operate to kill the patient, but to cure the patient. Similarly, the person, the soul, we're talking in terms of soul, the sinner's soul, you are helping the soul, right? Verse number 22. Vasam shijinani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnanyani samyati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. Just as we throw old cloth and put on new cloth, the soul puts on new bodies. Shastras say there are 84 lakh species, 84 lakh yoni. Every soul passes through these 84 lakh species, and after 84 lakh species, you get one human birth. How rare is that human birth? We are all in human birth. If you don't make any progress, what happens? There's no guarantee you will get another human birth. It's a very serious matter. You will go back into those different cycles of species, cats and dogs and donkeys, and you keep traveling in those 84 lakh species. And after 84 lakh species, you get one more human birth. Therefore, Prabhupada has put so much importance that human birth is where you can ask the questions. Who am I? The cats and dogs cannot ask that. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now I'm asking, who am I? Why am I here? What is my next destination? What was I before? These questions only human beings can ask. Animals cannot ask. Therefore, the human life is very, very, very precious. We should not waste it. So, the soul travels in 84 lakh species. I remember one, I don't know who said it, one Maharaj, somebody said, it's better to dance in the temple in front of Krishna. We dance in the temple. It's a great seva. But don't think dancing in the temple is like time pass. It's a seva. You are making Krishna happy. Krishna likes to see his children dancing for him. So it's better to dance in the temple than dance in 84 lakhs species. This is from Mundak Upanishad. The story of two birds. Anybody has heard this? Dva suparna sauja sakhaya samanam vriksham parisha swachate. There are two birds on a tree. One bird is hopping from one branch to another, looking for fruits. That bird will eat a little bit of fruit. He didn't not satisfied, jump into another branch, eat that fruit, jumps into it. The whole day, birds are very restless. You've seen the birds, they don't stay still, they keep jumping, hopping from here and there. One bird is hopping. The other bird is a friend of that bird. That bird is not doing anything, he's just sitting and watching that hopping bird. The hopping bird is us, the soul. And the watching bird is Paramatma. Atma and Paramatma, they always travel together like twins. Paramatma is Krishna. Krishna's one form is as Paramatma in everybody's heart. That Paramatma is your friend. Every 84 lakh species, the Paramatma, Krishna comes with you as Paramatma in all those species. And what he does, he just watches you. He is a witness. And the hopping bird is the soul. Soul, we are after sense enjoyment, like the hopping bird. The bird is after the fruit. We go in different species seeking sense pleasures. And Krishna in the heart, he's just helping us. Okay, if somebody likes, Prabhupada gives his example, somebody likes swimming. you know, does a lot of swimming. I used to swim at one time, but after reading the purport, I decided not to swim. So the verse says in the purport, you know, some people like swimming a lot. They do a lot of swimming. So Krishna is saying, oh, you like swimming? Okay, maybe next birth you can be a fish.
Yeah.
So human life is not meant for that, you know. Human life is not meant for sense enjoyment. It's meant for serious inquiry. So in the next verses, 23, 24, 25, qualities of the soul. It's all soul talk. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, nachenam kledayantyapo, na shoshyati maruta, achedyoyam adahyoyam, akledyo shosha evacha, nitya sarvagatasthanur, achaloyam sanatana, अव्यक्तोऽयम् अचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयम् उच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचितुमर्हसि. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon. Why Krishna is talking like this? Because Arjuna is a warrior and he is talking in the language that Arjuna can relate to. Because in those times, you must have seen in those serials, they have these weapons, you know, Divya weapons. It's not like today just, you know, cutting. There is Agni Astra of Agni, where, you know, it produces fire. Then there's a weapon of water. If the other person puts Agni weapon, the counter weapon is water. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, no matter what weapon you use, you cannot kill them. Drona, whoever, you can't kill them because at the soul level they cannot be killed. Soul can never be cut in pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. This individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble, and can never be burned or dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere. Now that's interesting. Soul is present everywhere. What does that mean? Of course, we know on Earth, we find different species, souls are there. But guess what? Soul is also there in planets like Sun and Moon. Why didn't the Apollo mission which went to Moon, why didn't they find any people there? Prabhupada, anyway, that's like a conspiracy theory. People, there are different group of people. Some people say that they did go to moon. Some people say they didn't go to moon. Prabhupada staunchly believed they didn't go to moon. They went somewhere that is not moon. According to Shastras, moon is way, way far away. So anyway, that's a different debate. Anyway, so, there are souls in sun. Can you believe it? I was astounded because sun is so hot. Science says there's nothing but just heat. But there are souls in sun planet also according to the Shastras. So here Krishna says soul is present everywhere. It's unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. It is said that soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So it's again the same message. Do not grieve for the body. You're not the body, you're soul, and soul never dies. The living entities are eternally separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. Even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity. As I said, there's no merging. We don't merge into Krishna. Yes, if you want to, you see, Krishna has three aspects: Paramatma, the Brahma Jyoti, and the personal form of Krishna holding the flute. The Paramatma is in everybody's heart. Krishna has effulgence. There is light coming, energy out of his body. That's effulgence. That's called Brahma Jyoti. Later on in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, my planet, Krishna Loka, there is no sun or moon. I don't need sun or moon because the Krishna's planet, the light comes from Krishna's body, Brahma Jyoti. So if you want to join with Krishna, the best you can do is you can go into the Brahma Jyoti. You'll still be separate. You can stay there for some time. You'll get so bored, and then you'll want to take birth again. So that's a temporary destination. So you're separate. You're separate individual souls and you remain separate. For a moment you can pretend you are merged with Krishna, but just a temporary thing. One example I think they say like a green parrot sitting on a green leaf. It looks same but it's still separate. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Right? Arjuna is Arjuna, Krishna is Krishna. They're eternally friends forever. That relationship doesn't change. Arjuna doesn't become his father or his son. He's forever Krishna's friend. And he's separate and he's enlightened. He's not like us. We are in Maya, but Arjuna is enlightened. Now we come to the 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 slokas. The summary is birth and death are inevitable. Do not lament for the eternal soul. So far, Krishna presented his opinion. Now he presents other viewpoints, material view that rejects the idea of soul. So there are different philosophies, right? The philosophy that Krishna till now said is that the soul is there, the body dies. But Krishna is touching on other philosophies just for the sake of argument. 26th verse. अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि. If, however, you think the soul will be born and die forever, still you don't have to lament. See, one point is that the soul doesn't die. That's what Krishna is saying. But Krishna is saying, just for argument's sake, if you believe soul dies and is born, and he dies and born, even then what's the point of grieving, right? According to non-Vedic theories, since there's so many other living entities generating our matter every moment, so many of them vanquished every moment, there's no need to grieve. For example, there's some theory, they don't believe in soul, they believe that after the death everything's over, and the life is a result of chemicals. A certain combination of chemicals in a certain temperature or pressure or whatever condition gives birth to life. That's one theory. If you believe in that theory, still you don't have to lament, because Arjuna was talking about sin. He said, I will get sin if I kill my grandfather. But Arjuna, when you die, you are gone, right? Who will get the sin? For the sin to be there, somebody has to be there, right? Yeah. If you are completely gone, what will suffer the sin? Nobody. So even if that's the case, no need to lament. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruva janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharya tena tvam shochitumarhasi. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, do not lament. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, if you're not fighting, these people will die anyway. Why? Because the body will die. Nobody is going to be there forever. If you don't kill them, does it mean that Drona and Bhishma will be living forever? No. They will die when the time comes, they'll die. So you cannot save them forever. But you are a Kshatriya, and if you don't do your duty, you will get sin. In fact, it's the other way around. Arjuna said that if I kill them, I will get sin. No, you got it wrong. If you don't kill them, you get sin. Because being a Kshatriya, you're not doing your duty. That is sin, not killing them. So, 28th verse.
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परि. Devana, all created beings are manifest in the beginning, manifest in the interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what's the need for lamentation? We are all unmanifest, now we are manifest, after death again unmanifest. न आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्य आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्. Some look at the soul as amazing, some describe it as amazing, some hear of it as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Again, different qualities of the soul. Wow. What's that? A whale. It's not a real whale, but it's a whale. And on that side, that's a little virus. Both the whale and the virus have souls in them, and the size of the soul is same. Isn't that amazing? The whale is so huge, like a 10-story building or something. Like the people. Whale is so huge and it has the same size of the soul, which is there in the microscopic viruses or bacteria. Same soul. That little soul in the whale's body makes it move. Isn't that amazing? Such a tiny spark can move this gigantic thing. देहि नित्यम् अवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. Till verse number 30, Krishna is repeatedly saying the same thing. Soul cannot be killed, your body can be killed, so fight. Nobody is going to die. Now, we come to the next session, Karma Kand or Sakam Karma. What is Karma Kand or what is Sakam Karma? Performing your prescribed duty gives enjoyment. Sakam Karma or Karma Kand means doing prescribed duty for fruitive results. Now, fruitive activity. What is a fruitive activity? What is a fruit? Fruit means phal. When you do an activity expecting a phal, a fruit, that's a fruitive activity. Basically, 100% of what we all do is fruitive activity. We do something for something. We study to get degree, we work to get salary. Every activity, most of the 99%, what we do in the world is fruitive activity. We expect something in return. Now, Shastras clearly gives different activity for different people. Kshatriya's activity is to fight. The Brahmana's activity is to teach. The Vaishya's activity is to do business. And when they do their prescribed, those are prescribed duty. Those are prescribed duty. Or Sakam Karma. Sakam Karma is the prescribed duty. What the Shastras tell you must do. For what? For getting a result. You're allowed to do fruitive activities. You do this, you will get a result. It's called Sakam Karma. Nishkam Karma is the opposite of that, where you don't expect anything and you're still doing it. That's Nishkam. But Sakam Karma is you expect something out of it. Sakam. It's also called Karma Kanda. There's a very fine difference, but basically now you just can think they're both pretty much same. Karma Kanda and Sakam Karma. Most of what we do in the name of religion today is Karma Kanda. We do these puja, we do yajna. It's all for some result, right? We don't do nishkam, we do for some result. And that's okay. Now, Krishna is, defeating Arjuna's previous arguments which he did. Remember the 5 reasons why he cannot fight? First he said, Arjuna said, if I win, I will not enjoy. Remember? Arjuna's one argument, I cannot enjoy because, I want to win to show off or whatever. Not enjoying is one argument. Krishna says, if you win, you will get the whole earth kingdom to enjoy. If you die, you can enjoy even more. How? Because you will go to heavenly planets. Shastras say that soldiers who die on the battlefield get a fast express train to Swargaloka to enjoy. The warriors, soldiers who die in the battlefield, immediately go to heaven. They don't take another human birth or anything. So they can enjoy. And in heaven, the capacity to enjoy is 1,000 times more. Now here we enjoy, whatever, eat ice cream or whatever, we try to enjoy, but there the enjoyment is 1,000 times more in Swarga. But it's not permanent. It's a short resort. You enjoy and then you're thrown back here. So Krishna says, think about it. You don't want to fight because you think you can't enjoy, but if you win, you enjoy. If you lose, in which case you die, you still enjoy. So it's a win-win situation. That's the first argument. Second argument Arjuna said is a sin. If I kill these people, I will get sin. So again Krishna says, if you don't fight, being a Kshatriya, that is a sin. But if you fight, it's not a sin. And also, if you don't fight, what happens? In the verse 33 says, you get infamous. Arjuna was very famous. He was a very brilliant warrior. He had a lot of, Prabhupada says, certificates for, he got different celestial weapons and this and that, and he defeated Lord Shiva. And he was a very reputed warrior. So if he decides not to fight, all that good name will go. And and Krishna said, you're leaving the battle because you're feeling sorry for these people. You feel compassion and you're leaving. You know what? If you leave the battle, do you think Duryodhana and Karna and all will appreciate that? They will make fun of you. They will say you left the battle because you got scared. That is ridicule. You'll be ridiculed. They'll laugh at you. And then you will get dishonored. And for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. So these verses. Swadharmamapi chaveksha napi kampitumar-hasi dharmyadi yuddha-shreyonya kshatriyasya na vidyate. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. So there is no need for hesitation. So Krishna says, you are Kshatriya. Kshatriyas, actually look for such opportunities because they can directly go to heaven if they die. And you don't lose the opportunity. Yadishya chopapanna swargaparam apavritam sukhina kshatriya partha labante yuddham idrisham. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening the doors of heavenly planets. Atha chetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tata swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsisi. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duty and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vayam sambhavitasya chakirtir maranad atirichyate. People who always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. Bhayad ranad उपरतं वंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथा येषां च त्वं महाबाहो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्. The great generals who highly esteem your name and fame will think that you left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they would consider you insignificant. अवाच्य वादांश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिता निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरं नु किम्. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? That's the last verse. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महिं तस्मादुत्थिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चया. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Yeah? So Krishna is saying it's better to die in the battlefield than run away, because it's win-win situation. You either go to heaven and enjoy, or you get the earthly kingdom. Now, this is not the final message of Krishna. This Krishna has just touched upon. Actually, he spoke about soul and spirit, soul and body. That is a higher level, and then he's speaking of a lower level topic, which is karma kand. But just because Arjuna had said, different arguments about sins and enjoyment, Krishna is saying this. But this is not the final message of Krishna. One example to give is that, like when you want to convince somebody, you start at the periphery and then you go deeper and deeper, right? Like if somebody doesn't want to do something, but to talk of the superficial things, if that convinces that person, fine. If that doesn't convince, you go a little more deeper, you talk about more deep things, like that. So that's the approach. So we've come to verse number 37. So Krishna in the 12 to 30, he speaks about soul, different qualities of the soul. Soul is so tiny, soul cannot be destroyed. And then from 31 to 37, he speaks about sakam karma, how you can do your duty and get the result, good result of the duty. And in this case, Arjuna's duty is fighting, so he should do the duty. And then next, he will speak about other aspects, like how you have to be sthita pragya, right? Buddhi yoga. The last section is sthita pragya, and before that when it comes to nishkam karma yoga. So we are end of the session. Questions? I will attempt to answer.
What will be the timing?
Depends on your pious credits. Depends on your credit card. How much money you have in your credit card, you get to stay in the resort. Right? Once your price credits are done, extinguished, you fall back.
So that's a temporary place actually. There's
Absolutely. Not at all. So Prabhupada never ever, in fact, he looked, a wise person looks down on that. What's the point? You want to go to a final destination where you can be blissful forever, which is Krishna Loka. As a final destination, it's full of bliss and it's permanent. There's no coming back. Instead of just going to heaven, enjoying a little, and you come back, I feel it's more even distressing. You taste something and then you fall back again. Circle of birth and death. In fact, Devatas, they say, crave for a human birth. You cannot do bhakti in heaven. It's a bhog, a place for bhog, to enjoy. Bhakti can only be done in human form of life, on earth. So the Devtas envy us, especially people in India. To get birth in Bharat is extremely fortunate because we are surrounded by so many spiritual energies. No questions? Yes.
Joy and sorrow is not related to soul. Then what is the purpose of that in our life actually? If it is, मुझे ये पूछना है
She means like, what is the role of the soul exactly?
The soul is covered by our subtle body, Sukshma Sharir, which is full of desires. The desires, like they say in Gita, they say yes, like her perfume. The fragrance goes like that. The subtle body covers the soul. After death, the soul plus the subtle body, Sukshma Sharir, goes into the next body. The subtle body is full of your unfulfilled desires. That takes you to the next body. Like I said, the swimming thing. If you have a lot of desire to swim, it's unfulfilled, you get the next body which is conducive to that desire. If I want to fly, all my life I'm thinking of flying. Krishna being Paramatma is a very kind friend. He tries to guide me how I can fulfill my desire. Everybody's desire is different. According to my desire and karma, two things. I get my next body. Like I said, I desire a Lamborghini, but my karma is for Maruti. I won't get that. Both factors are there, desire as well as karma, that takes you to the next body. So the point, why are we suffering? Because of our desires, we get entangled in the material world, we do karma. Different karma, and that has a reaction. So we suffer.
Just
Soul doesn't suffer. Soul is just going with the subtle body.
I would just like to add on to your point. We suffer just because we are at subtle body. Like body is composed of three levels, which is gross body made up of five components: air, water, ether, fire, and then comes subtle body, where it lies mind. Mind is there, intelligence is there, and then false ego. So we realize like we stay at that level only. So that's why mind is like full of emotions, desires, feelings, and that's why we suffer. And we do not use the intelligence like how to differentiate or determine what to do, and we do not reach to the soul level, which is only Sat Chit Anand, which is full of knowledge, eternal, and bliss. So that's why
Right.
we could not reach to that level easily. That's why we suffer and
Right.
go on with all this
Yeah.
emotions.
We don't realize we are the soul, which is, like she said, eternal bliss and knowledge. We identify falsely with the body.
Yeah.
And we have desires which can be fulfilled only through body. Right? When you come to a platform and you no longer have any desires, like they give an example of a coconut. Unripe coconut is green, the inside part is stuck to it. But when it becomes ripe, सूख जाता है, then it comes out, right? So like that, as long as the soul is identified with the body, it will have desires and it will suffer or enjoy, and it will keep on the endless cycle of birth and death. When you realize you're a soul, then that suffering stops.
So as we said, like our karmic reactions are like of the past life. But in past lives, like 84 like species, they do not have that like ability to think and all. So how are the karma created? They do not have the
Yeah, good question. Because that 84 lakh cycle has been going on for eternally. So you have had human birth many times in the past, and you may have done karma in those human life. Animal yoni is not, animals don't get the reaction for the karma. You're right. जो पशु योनि है उसमें there is no reaction. But human life there is a reaction. So you have had human life before. Every 84 lakh species में you had one human life. Like that you had human life many times in the past. This is going on for eternally. There's no count of it. Human lives. You've done something, so you're suffering for that.
So, Mother, just so so if someone is like dog or cat, so if they are doing any bad work, so that will not be like they will not be
No.
getting
No,
suffering or some
no,
kind.
no. That animal life, there's no reaction. It's a bhog yoni, right? That's what you see, animal life. Yeah. Only the human life is accountable. You're accountable for your action because God has given you higher intelligence. Yeah.
Like till now, what I have lived, I have done some kind of sins or maybe we have done. So how can we actually cancel out them or maybe do something to a greater level that we actually attain?
Hare Krishna. Chant the Mahamantra. That is the super fast way to cancel out everything. We don't know. We have been so many, murderers or whatever. We don't know what we have done in the past. There's no way to know it for us. But chanting the holy names, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the most powerful method in Kali Yuga. If you chant the holy names, they say when Krishna hears the holy names, your files are deleted from the memory. There's no files. Your past record is deleted. So chanting of the holy names purifies you, your past karma, your present karma, your future karma, your everything gets purified. Just chanting the holy name. That's the most easiest method. That's what Bhagavad Gita also says. There are other methods. You can do dhyana, you can go to Himalayas and meditate for 100 years or whatever. Or those things are there, but not practical. Chanting of the holy name is the most practical, easiest, powerful, simple method to change your karma. So there's an announcement. Next Gita class, which is on a Sunday, will not take place because there is, as you can see, the venue is going here and there. We used to be in the seminar hall, now we are here. The venue keeps changing, and there's no guarantee that this will be there. So, seminar hall is not there, the upstairs room is not there, something is happening. So, next Sunday, there won't be a class. The Sunday after that, my beloved spiritual master is coming here, hopefully. His Holiness Bhakti Damodar Swami Maharaj is coming. Hopefully he'll come here. That's a Sunday, so I will be busy serving his lotus feet. So the 2 Sundays there won't be a class, and the Sunday after that I'm considering doing this online. You can show your raise of hand. How many of you prefer online sessions? I was expecting a lot of hands. Um, okay, let's see. If this room is there, I think we can consider it. Otherwise one option is online. I hope we get a room, but if not, then that option is there. So I will let you know in the group what is it. But the next 2 weeks we won't have uh, Gita class, but you can study whatever you have done so far and apply it in your life. All right? Thank you.
Schedule some kirtan there. The next one is at 7.
Yeah, maybe they have to go somewhere. We are already past time.
No. I'll arrange for a prasad by then.
Okay. Yeah. Hare Grantaraj, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So